Yeah. Okay. Right. Recording. Good. Anyway, welcome back to the World Cancer Day show. This is not how you do an open mic on StreamYard, but you know, fuck it. Anyway, so yeah, World Cancer Day. To be fair, I didn't even know World Cancer Day existed, to be fair, until I started searching up charities. Yeah, I just started searching up charity days, and World Cancer Day came up first. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm pretty sure I speak for everyone. I think we all know someone who may have been affected by cancer. Obviously, I don't know your lives personally. Sometimes I wish I don't know your personal lives, but fine. You know, some of us may have issues, maybe parenting issues. I don't know. Anyone here a parent? No, good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If you are a parent, all I'm going to say is you've got a lot of good brain cells. You've got the will to deal with those little bastards. Like, I don't want kids. Well, I want kids, but I also don't want kids. Mainly because my bank account will probably be committing suicide within the first 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm going to save the suicide jokes for another non-death related show. Anyway, right. This is not how you do a show. I'm sorry I'm doing this so crap. But anyway, okay, wait, what? I don't know why my screen is black. I could make a comment then, but I'm not. Because I don't want to get cancelled again for the third time this week. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Okay, right, who's our first act? Okay, our first act is currently having a couple of screen problems. So we'll come back to him in about 5 minutes or so. Okay, so our first act, this guy is absolutely brilliant. I've seen him on a few shows before. Half the time during the shows I've seen him on, I probably not even been awake because, top tip, don't do late night shows because it fucks you up a lot. Anyway, right, Winston, you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Woo! All right, give it up for your first act. It's Winston Hodges.
Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, I was excited I got asked to do this. My dad actually passed away from pancreatic cancer last year, so it's kind of cool to be able to do this. Yeah, my dad died from pancreatic cancer, but he was also like a lifelong hypochondriac. So like the worst part was he fucking called that shit. Oh boy. Yeah, he saw that coming a mile away. Holy shit, man. It really puts your life into perspective when your dad's leaving the oncologist office and he's just like, booyah, I told you bitches. And it's like, all right, let's calm down a little bit. It's a little bit inappropriate. If I'm being honest though, it's like I got a bunch of jokes about my dad passed away in cancer, but like I have to remind people, I know that these jokes may make you think about how your dad's passed away or how one day your dad will pass away, but just know that my dad was the biggest supporter all time of my comedy. He loved what I did. This is how my father would want to be remembered, okay? So I just let you know that if you don't laugh at the next 4 or 5 minutes of dead dad jokes, when your father dies and gets to heaven, my dad's probably going to whoop his ass, all right? That's what's going to happen. Yeah, he's going to be waiting at the pearly gates and be like, hey, motherfucker, what's up? I heard you were talking shit about my son's comedy. I said that once, and I had a guy be like, well, how big was your dad? And I'm like, you don't get how heaven or jokes work. If that was your first question. It's like not even a little bit, dude. It's insane. We had to make the arrangements for the funeral, which was pretty interesting because, like, I guess I didn't realize everything that goes into funeral arrangements. Like, we went in and we were kind of freaking out, and we asked them what our options were, and they're like, well, we can do a couple things. First option is we can take your father, we can embalm your father, we can dress him up, make him look exactly how you remember him. We'll put him in a handmade casket. We'll put him at a central location. All your loved ones and family members can come pay their respects. And I was like, oh my God, that sounds pretty amazing. What's the other option? They're like, we can light him on fire. Do you want to do that? Yeah, we can burn that motherfucker to a crisp is a thing that we can do. And if you want to, you can put it in a little jar, put it on your mantelpiece, make all future house guests extremely uncomfortable, if that's what you want to do. Is there anything? We went with the traditional burial. But the reason we went with that wasn't because there's anything wrong with cremation. It's just that I felt like a lot of the cremation places we looked at were kind of dishonest. Crematoriums aren't very good at giving you back exactly what you give them, right? Like they deal in dust. So historically, you're not going to get everything back. And I didn't like that they weren't just upfront about this. Like, just be honest with me, right? Like, I think we should be able to hold crematoriums to like the same high standard that we hold like Capri Sun to, right? Like, I feel like that's the thing we can do. Like, I'll accept a vase with my father in it. You just got to put a sticker on the side that says 10% real pop. All right. That's all I need on the side of my vase. But like, okay, that's nice. Oh my God, it's from concentrate. That's very fun. I don't know, man. Like, here's the deal. When you lose a loved one, people don't know what to say to you. Like, I had a friend and he came over to me, and after my dad died, the first thing he said to me was, Winston, I understand exactly how you feel. Okay. Because my dog passed away. And I was like, yeah, dude, I guess that's kind of the same thing, except I can't solve my problem by adopting a stray dad. That's not a thing we can do, right? Like, I can't be walking around being like, hey, here's my dad, he's a rescue. But who rescued who? Am I right, guys? Who did that? I don't know, man. That's what blows me. People don't know what the right thing to say. Also, like, when you lose a loved one, people you don't like are going to reach out to you and try to comfort you. And you can't do anything about it, man. Here's a perfect example. When my dad died, we were at his visitation, and my ex-girlfriend who cheated on me that I hadn't talked to in 6 years showed up at the visitation. And that's really fucked up, because it meant I had to spend 3 hours wondering whether or not I could fit a second body in the casket. Is there any way we can get rid of her? We could. She was a tiny Filipino lady. We made it fucking work. All right. We got like 30 seconds left. So I'll probably end on one last cancer joke and then get out of here. I don't know, man. It's been about 1.5 years, and I keep myself so busy that my grief hasn't really hit me yet. And I know when my grief hits me, I'll be crying, I'll be rolling on the floor, I'll be like incredibly upset. But I don't want that to happen. Like, I don't want that to happen when I'm like working with students. I don't want that to happen when I'm hanging out doing a show or with my friends or family members. I want my grief to really hit me when I can use it productively, right? Like, I want my grief to hit me an hour into a 90-minute, phone call with customer service with Verizon. That's really when I want my grief to hit me. I would love to be like halfway through it and just snap and be like, fuck you, Brenda, I'm not paying these goddamn late fees. My dad's dead. Okay, that's not happening. And then, of course, she's going to be like, yeah, we know your dad's dead. We're Verizon. We fucking killed him. So you don't need to pay these bills. Yeah, but that's my time. Kym, thank you so much for letting me participate in this benefit, man. This has been really fun. Thank you.
Woo!
I'm just going to see how many different voices I can say Winston. Winston. No, I'm going to shut up. I think it's a good idea I shut up now, I think. Yeah. I'll just give it up for Winston. I like that. Fucking hell. It was a very similar option when my granddad died back in 2019. It was either like, we didn't quite have the same sort of options here in the UK. The options were burn the fucker or bury him in a ditch. Burn the fucker, bury him in a ditch. Why don't we do both? Why don't we burn him and then throw him in a ditch? Guy also failed to mention that when he died, he was in the morgue for about 2 months. Yeah, there was fuck all left when they got to him. I'm not even joking. Yeah, this is the sort of reaction I was expecting. But to be fair though, my granddad, he was sort of a big supporter of my comedy, but he also wasn't. The fact that I tried out most of my jokes on him, and bless him, when I started comedy, he was only 79 and he was already losing his fucking marbles. Like, he didn't understand half the jokes. You know, like, have you ever had to explain a punchline to like a family member and you then realise my career is fucked? Yeah. I think we've all been there. Am I the only person who's been there? You know, trying to explain a joke and it just never fucking works. It's not my granddad, to be honest. Yeah. My granddad used to piss in a bag, and that was before he got the colostomy bag. And the bag he was pissing in was his wife. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up now. I am genuinely gonna shut up. I can feel someone stabbing me in the back, quite literally. Anyway, right, okay, we're gonna move on to our next actor who was originally supposed to be first, but he was having a couple of issues. He's here now. It's great. I appreciate his patience. Give it up. He's done a lot of reckless shows. He's absolutely brilliant. Give it up for Bruce Lipsky.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Celebrating life. It's beautiful that you're doing this. You know, what do you do with parents when they're in their late 90s? You know, I have them and I go to check on them regularly. And I was over their house the other day and I walked in and I said, gosh, Mom, what's that smell again? So I went right to the kitchen and looked in their refrigerator. I said, Mom, when's the last time you cleaned this refrigerator out? Was Lincoln still president? I looked further back. There was a stalk of broccoli in there that sprouted wings and developed its own personality. And we had a 3-minute staring contest. It looked like a chia pet. I had a tub of cottage cheese in there that was expired around the same time as my great-great-grandfather. And it was moldy. Cottage cheese, not my great-grandfather. What was really bad is I put my hazmat suit on. I went all the way back there. They had a carton of milk from 1978. I'm a little older than you guys over here, but back then, they used to have the picture of a missing child on the carton over there. This child had a beard and a mustache and bald. I think that Amber Alert turned silver. But then I looked closer. That guy looked kind of like me. Then I realized my parents do things differently. Most parents put their kids' pictures on the outside of the refrigerator. Mine put mine on the inside. Oh my gosh. And you know, these people, there's so much mold in their house. Now I know why they've lived into their 90s. They're immune to everything. They've eaten so much bacteria. It's like super penicillin. But I had to take my parents my dad to the hospital. As I said, they're getting up in years. And my dad insisted that he drive. And with a 92-year-old driver, I thought I'd wind up in the hospital too. He had a 1978 car this car is so big, it's what they call a Grand Marquis. 25,000 pounds. It's the size of an aircraft carrier. You need a football field to park this beast. 280,000 miles on it. It wasn't built for speed or comfort. And the way he's a terror on the road, it's like he turned this Grand Marquis into Grand Marquis de Sade. And he constantly tells me, Bruce, you know, you can have this car one day. And I said, what else can I have? The repair bills also? And this car is battered like my parents. The cloth ceiling liner in the car was all broken. It was hanging down like a hammock. I think it slept 2 people. And as we get into the car, my mom said, no, Bruce, you're a big boy now. Why don't you sit next to Dad? But my mother's ass imprint's been in there for 30 years. I wound up sitting so close to the floor I can barely look over the dashboard. I felt like a little kid again. And my dad is a slow driver. I figure at 91 years old, he'd be more of a rush to get places. Our half-mile trip took us 45 minutes. I said, Dad, can you go any faster? Kids on skateboards are passing us. I could have put you on my back and did a piggyback ride and got you to the hospital faster. And then, you know, we got stuck at a 4-way stop for 30 minutes. He kept on letting everybody go by. I said, Dad, what are you doing over here? He says, well, good manners are very important. Not in New York City traffic. And, you know, I guess, you know, with this car, it was so beat up. It was such a piece of shit that the back door was bungeed together. barely holding on. I was afraid my mother would lean out the door and fall out. Thankfully, my dad drives slow enough that if he had to back up, it wouldn't take so long. But we finally got to the hospital. And, you know, I said, it's tough having elderly parents. My dad, I think he's starting to lose it up here. He's convinced that stand-up MRI is a comedy club. And I got him into the hospital, and we're in the elevator over there, and this technician wheels in this machine with all these tubes and hoses. My father looks at the guy and says, "Mister, you're not going to hook me up to that machine today, are you?" The guy looks back and says, "I hope not for your sake. It's a carpet cleaner." And after the hospital, I took him to that favorite restaurant, Friendly's. For those of you in the UK, I don't know if they have Friendly's over there, but there's nothing friendly about my parents when they go out to eat. They don't go out to eat, they go out to complain. And my parents are not warm when they go out to eat. In the restaurant there, the waiters and waitresses know them so well that when they come up to them, they said, "Mr. and Mrs. Lipsky, is anything okay?" And then my mother called the manager over. She says, "Mister, it's bad enough that my eggs are running and my toast is burnt. But how come you don't serve coffee in those nice brown Friendly mugs anymore?" The guy said we stopped because people kept on stealing them. My mother looked at him and said, "Oh my, that's too bad. I only needed one more to complete my set." Now I have a mother with a mugshot for being a mug thief. We've run out of restaurants now. It's gotten so bad that restaurants are now reviewing them on Yelp. My mother called me and said, "Bruce, guess what? We got 1 star on Yelp. Isn't that fantastic?" I said, "No more, 5 stars is what you want." But I told it, if you return the mugs, maybe you'll get 2 more stars. That's my time. Thank you very much, Kym, for allowing me to be part of this. My name is Bruce Lipsky.
Woo! Like Bruce has done a lot of Reckless's shows. Sometimes he does the shows that actually fucking work. Like, don't blame me. Like, actually, yes, blame my internet. Fuck the internet. No, actually, the internet is probably the best creation ever made for someone of my generation. What was the other options back in 2001? The internet or fucking VHSs? Not much of an option, really, is it? It goes back to burn the fucker or bury him in the ground. I'll take the fucking internet over VHS any day. Considering recently what came into my acquisition, if you didn't see the preview of my show, what recently came into my acquisition is a VHS TV. You think I'm joking? After this next comic, I will show you this fucking TV. And you will not believe. It's like I've just been thrown back into the fucking 80s. All over again. It's like, I now have to fork out my own money just to use the fucker. Like, how are you going to sell that on fucking like eBay? Hi, I have a, this is not how you do eBay. You don't write it like a fucking letter. Like, it's like, hi, I have a VHS TV without any VHSs. Please take it off my hands. I don't fucking want it anymore. PS doesn't come with Scartly. Thank you. Anyway, right, I'm going to move on to our next act. This guy is absolutely brilliant. He's done a lot of Reckless's shows. He's our secret weapon, so to speak. Well, technically, Reckless has a lot of secret weapons, and we're not talking about our penises. Anyway, right, please give it up for the brilliant, all the way from the UK. Well, he could be in the next fucking room, couldn't he? He could be in the next fucking room. Please give it up for Robert Auty.
Hey!
Hello. Hello, thank you very much, Kym. I have to say, I do disagree with your scenario because you've moved from StreamYard to Zoom. At least with VHS, you know you're with VHS, and then you can move to VHS. Anyway, never mind about that. So we've had all a shit year. We're all still in lockdown. It hasn't been fun, has it? The trouble is there's fuck all on the television. I mean, all we get over in England is bloody celebrities go dating. It's fucking shit. It's horrible. But I have to say one thing. I wasn't expecting this week for Marilyn Manson to turn up. Ooh, that was a bit dodgy. Okay, moving on. So on that statement, you'll probably know that I'm single, and for good reason. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm single, and for good reason, because of that last joke. And I have a cold for 9 months of the year. For 3 months, I have hay fever. I'm very uncomfortable around the opposite sex because of my erection, and work for my local council as a custodian because I'm shit under pressure and have emotional outbursts over the smallest things. My erection. That being said, I have had successful relationships. I've had sexual ones too. I met somebody once, we connected on all levels. Music, ideals, personality. Neither of us had one. But there were two things that fucked it up for us both. She had OCD, and I live in a shit tip. So the relationship lasted up until she visited my shit tip. She dumped me. Now, I don't blame her for dumping me, but she could have at least tidied up. I'm also trying to make myself better to the opposite sex and more attractive, and I've done something about that this year, or last year. For the last 6 months, I've been wearing a mask. It's not working, is it? But the other thing I've been doing is, during lockdown when we were able to, I use a gym. But there's one thing that makes me uncomfortable about a gym, and that is exercise. No, it isn't. It's changing rooms. Now, I cannot speak for the women in the audience here tonight because you won't let me into your changing rooms because of my erection. But I know that men are uncomfortable sharing a room with other naked men they don't know. For example, if there's somebody stood outside your locker, you don't know what the correct protocol is. You don't know whether to wait for them to finish, go round them, or politely ask them to move. Because any of these scenarios could cause unnecessary embarrassment and conflict. We had an elderly man about a year or so ago who lost his footing. Every man in that room held his breath because if that man had fallen over, I don't think any of us would have attempted to rescue him for fear of being punched, propositioned, or had up for sexual harassment. But it got worse because the man decided that he was going to use a hairdryer, and bear in mind, he didn't have any hair on his head. That's the sound of a hairdryer, by the way. But then it got worse because he reached for a comb, and bear in mind, he wasn't wearing a stitch. But the thing that makes me the most uncomfortable about gym changing rooms are communal showers. Now, I appreciate we all have partners, current or potential, we like to keep our cleaners for in the downstairs area. However, I don't think it is acceptable to do this in an open plan office. I don't want a conversation with somebody who is actually, I'm enjoying this too much. Lavering his loins was asking me if I watched last night's Panorama special on farmers and their infected meat. Anyway, that's been my time. Thanks for listening. Good night.
Woo!
Woo! Right.
Thank you.
Auty. Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. Right. Okay. I told you I was going to show you. I told you. This is what came into my acquisition.
Woo!
Ooh.
Fancy.
What the fuck? Look at it. Like, what the fuck?
It's like a prize from the Generation game, man. It's exciting.
I
It's
know, right?
brilliant, yeah.
No, otherwise we'll be here. And the prize this week is a VHS TV.
Yay!
I'm going to be happy with that.
When you're over 40,
Yeah, anyone over the age of 40 is going to love it.
yeah.
I'm looking at this fucker and I'm like, what's my life turned into? What decision did I make? Right, so when my mum said, would you like a TV? I was not expecting that. I was expecting a 36-inch TV with porn channels included.
You just get Debbie Does Dallas, you're fine.
Yeah, but now I have to buy my own porn instead of free porn. Yeah, she didn't say a working TV. Like just imagine if you have a really long wank and the video finishes. You're gonna have to go, oh yeah, come on, fucking speed right up. Right, come on. Like, one bit of advice. If your mum offers you a non-working TV, tell her to fuck right off. On that note, I'm going to bring our next act on. Just for watching mini-series. Yeah, the only mini-series I'd probably watch on that is the 1990 It mini-series, which is actually pretty decent. I don't think it's even on VHS. Is it on VHS? I don't know. No, I don't think it is. I'm going to search it up later. Anyway, right, moving on to our next act. Your next act is absolutely brilliant. A little highlight from times I've performed with him is back in the summer he got upstaged by a production of Jesus Christ Superstar in Regent's Park. Yes, Andrew Lloyd Webber fucking upstaged him. As he always does, doesn't he? Alright, give it up for the brilliant Harry Potter fanatic. Give it up for Simon Hall.
Good evening.
Hello.
In the news this week, Mortal Kombat fans were up in arms this week with claims that the final level of the new game was just too hard. In the new series, you must play as a grizzled ex-army war veteran who contracts COVID-19 before fighting the final boss, an immortal 300-year-old lizard woman with a sword. Yeah, this is the news that Captain Sir Tom Moore died this week, causing news outlets around the world to ejaculate with glee for having spent so much time getting to know Sir Captain Tom Moore last year. Now, every journalist who has spent so much as 5 minutes with Sir Captain Sir Tom Moore was wheeled out to ruminate on what a wonderful person Captain Sir Captain Tom Moore was. From the Daily Mail journos hacking into his private phone lines to the CIA operative who had spent the past 6 months watching him via a satellite link, everyone wanted to thank Captain Sir Captain Sir Tom Moore. Captain Tom. Even British Prime Minister Boris Johnson got in on the act, thanking Sir, oh Captain, my Captain, Sir Tom, 1966 England Captain Sir Bobby Moore, for his selfless hard work and unwavering altruism, in a move linguists believe may have redefined the word irony. All right. Thanks, everyone. I think that's pretty good, right? I do this show. I'm just going to plug it here because why the hell not, right? I do this show, the 27-minute comedy hour, 9:30 GMT every Friday. It's pretty funny. I'm going to use that tomorrow, so tune in for some more laughs. What else I've been up to recently? I've been thinking about Jesus, right? Because, woo, yeah, we got some people who love Jesus. Well, you know, I'm not religious. I just like the idea of having superpowers. But no, like I've been thinking about Jesus, right? Because you think about it, right? I think Jesus would find the world difficult today, wouldn't he? Like if he came back in the second coming, like back when he was first around, get some followers, all you have to do, stand on a mount, bleat about the meek. Yeah. Nowadays, how do you get followers? Social media, right? Jesus has got to get on the socials. Like, could you imagine Jesus on Twitter? He would get crucified.
Hey!
But like he would, wouldn't he? Right? Yeah, because Jesus would be like tweeting like, "Love thy neighbor." So like someone would return back like at the real _ Jesus Christ. That's all very well for you to say, mate, but if you consider the actual economic impact of loving thy neighbor, Jesus would reply, "It is easier for a rich man to pass through the eye of a needle, for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle, than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven." Which they reply, "All right, you bloody liberal lefty socialist." God. People today, you realise if we didn't have any millionaires in this country, no one would have jobs. Right. We'd have to have all sorts of different social media to appeal to different audience members, wouldn't he? Like, you know, he could appeal into like 14-year-old girls through an Instagram page, just like, "Yo guys, check out my crazy crucifixion ribs." He could be appealing to like little old ladies with like a Radio 4 show or like a nice podcast where he like cycles around the country with older celebrities. He could call it Christ on a Bike. Either that, or he could like go on TikTok and like lip sync to Adele whilst hiding behind the Shroud of Turin. Hello from the other side. That would appeal to all the fucking morons in the world. But what I really want to see, Jesus like trying to tap into the lads market. Yeah, because I love the idea of Jesus trying to like appeal to lads with like a prank series on YouTube. Because think about it, right? Jesus would be sick of pranks, wouldn't he? Yeah, like Jesus would be proper sick of pranks, like because he could just do reverse miracles. Like instead of feeding the 5,000, hanging around outside KFC, just making people's fat people's chicken disappear. Just watching them crying in their cars, him and his mates all sniggering. It's like hanging around outside off licenses at the end of the night as all the hobos come out with their bottles of wine, turning it back into water. Watching their crushed disappointment as they tried to drink the night away. Just like ultimately, he'd have to start like upping the ante, wouldn't he? Yeah, he'd have to start like making them bigger and better. You'd end up with an episode of Jesus Pranks, like, "Yo, welcome to Jesus Pranks. Today we're going to be pranking some orphans. Yeah, we're going to be pranking them little bastard orphans. We've got a little orphan Annie over here. Like, hey, orphan Annie. Hey, how's it going, orphan Annie? Hey, Annie, touch Jesus. Touch Jesus, Annie. Touch Jesus. Go on, Annie, touch Jesus. Ah, you got leprosy, Annie. I just gave you leprosy. Got it, Annie. Just like a little interview with Annie afterwards. Just like, "Oh, I can't believe Jesus gave me leprosy. So embarrassing." But I think Jesus would be great at pranks because God's great at pranks, isn't he? Yeah, like God's like proper sick at pranks. Like I give you the ultimate proof that God is good at pranks, right? God said to me, he put in my head the dream, right? Now the desire, the wish, the heartfelt wish to become a stand-up comedian. Right? And he came along and he put that idea in my head, gave me like my first set. He was like, "Yeah, they're mostly jokes about your tiny cock, but you have my blessing." And he put that idea in my head one cold, wet February morning as I'm driving to work in 2020. Yeah, in 2020 he did that to me. 2000. What kind of sick, twisted humour is that? A month later, my entire country goes into lockdown. So he's there with me going, "Yeah, go on, and become a comedian. Go and become a comedian." And then he's all at the same time with some dude in China going, "Eat the bat, go on, eat the bat, yeah, it'll be funny, just eat the bat." God damn it! Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Simon Hall. Have a great fucking evening. I hope we raise some great money for cancer charities. It's all about that. Big up to Kym.
done. Well, give it up for Simon Hall. Absolutely brilliant. I feel so sorry for you still getting upstaged by Andrew Lloyd Webber.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
No, I'm not.
He's a genius, and I'll deal with it.
Can I also clarify, on the same night, the headliner didn't turn up.
Oh my gosh.
So Simon ended up being the headliner and getting upstaged. Right, talking about Jesus, on April 2nd, 2021, yes, 2021, fucking hell, feels like 2020 all over again, bit like Groundhog Day. But April 2nd, 2021, if you'd kindly join us as Reckless Comedy are going to be retelling the Passion story in an all-new light, written by myself and Michael Monkhouse. What could go wrong? It's currently called The Last Days of Christ. We do actually have a subtitle for it. It's called An Atheist's View on the Last Days of Christ. What could go wrong? April 2nd, it's going out live. And also on March 16th, we'll be doing an audio recording for it because we're sluts and we're going to try and sell it off. Yeah, whilst also getting cancelled at the same time. So it's fine. Anyway, right, I'm going to move on to our headliner. This woman is absolutely brilliant. She's hosted a few Reckless shows in the past because I decided, you know what, fuck this, someone else can do it for a week. Yeah, that's literally the whole thought of it. She's also done many other shows with me where she's heard a bit too much information about my mother's anus. I'm glad Simon didn't turn up to any of those shows. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to shut up. Please give it up for your headliner, the brilliant Kristine Knowlton.
Hello, everyone. Okay, first off, don't adjust your screens. I'm behind a white background. I'm white as hell. I haven't been out since last year. I was like, wow. I'm bringing a new phrase to cracker here. I mean, speaking of crackers, there's a Keebler Elf commercial, right, for Clubhouse crackers. They are the whitest crackers ever. And they've got white people eating them. And I'm like, white people eating crackers, crackers eating crackers, like what's going on here? You know, is that cannibalism? I don't know. I don't know. My own kind, I don't know what's going on there, but they are some tasty ass crackers. So Groundhog's Day has just come and gone. For all of you that don't know, it's where the United States relies on a groundhog to tell them whether they have 6 more weeks of winter or not, instead of just looking outside of our fucking windows. That's how it works. This is America. It's great, you know. But, you know, we're still in the pandemic, so every day is friggin' Groundhog's Day. And my friend Brett had to comment on it. He's like, dude, that groundhog is a dick. And I'm like, yeah, an uncircumcised dick. And it reminds me of one of my favorite jokes. All right. So here we are. Anybody here tonight that has an uncircumcised penis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my God. So do I. They are so great. I mean, they have like their own little sleeping bag and they're so snuggly and, you know, but have you ever tried to jack one of those things off? Like you're pumping and pumping and pumping, you know, you're waiting for the head to pop out like Groundhog's Day, you know, like here you go, you know, but, you know, swear to God, if that bitch in your hand is big enough to see his own shadow, whoo, we're going to be walking funny in the morning. Anyway, back to pumping. So you pump and pump it. Finally pops his little head out, and he looks like Uncle Fester. He's like, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I have no life, and you've heard it here, folks. You know, and by the way, that was one of my best impressions. So if you were expecting more, I am so friggin' sorry. But I'm just gonna come out. I'm just gonna come out and say this, yo. Being bisexual is a bitch. Being half in the closet and half out of the closet. You know, the best thing I ever got was telling someone, like, hey, you know what? I'm bisexual. They're like, that's nice. That's nice. That's anybody else like, oh, I'm fully blown lesbian. I'm gay. You know, oh, you got kicked out. You like all this drama. I didn't get any drama, and I didn't even get a party for coming out. I was like, what the hell? You know, it's like, why bother announcing it? Like, being bisexual is literally like being the lesbian's like step kid. I don't know. It just Just doesn't friggin' work. But yeah, it's like, why announce it? Why? Because my BIDAR malfunctions, and I never know if a woman is interested in me or not. Let me explain BIDAR for a moment. BIDAR is like bisexual radar, which I use my clit for. And my clit is always hard, literally. And, it's not like you just step out into life and life gives you a menu and says who's available and for what. I really wish. But, I've been called a cock blocker in my time. Let me paint a picture here. All right, one night I was headlining comedy at a place called Centerfolds. That's a strip club here in Atlantic City. Let that sink in for you. Headlining comedy at a strip club. Yeah, anyway, I was the girl's favorite there. But moving on with the story, before I get, all rose and take you on a tour of St. Olaf. And, I love Betty White, bless her heart. But anyway, a male comedian was checking out another female comedian. And he was like, oh, she's cute. I'm gonna try to get with her tonight. And I was like, son, sit down. I got this. So I walk over to her. We start talking. We're flirting and everything. The next thing you know, it's like we're making out right in the strip club, right in front of them. That's when I got the nickname of cock blocker. And you're welcome for that story. Another story that wraps into that. Like, she's been wanting to get with me for quite some time, and usually after a show or something, I'm too drunk or high or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I want to remember this moment. That's why I chose the strip club. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, and I might be a little psychic or psycho, depending on how you look at it. It's like, Kristine, you don't look like a bisexual or a lesbian. And, not everybody looks good in plaid shirts and beanie hats. I just end up looking like a lumberjack, attracting the opposite sex of the opposite sex that I was trying to go with. I mean, it's like basic bi math. But if you're wondering what bi math is, it's like, you could have a straight person and a bisexual together. You'd have a bisexual and a bisexual together. You'd have a bisexual and a lesbian or gay together. Like, it's all just basic bi math. It's just, it's too hard. I'm just going to use my BIDAR, But you know what? Hair is a crazy thing. Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush, mostly because I don't have one. But don't get me wrong, hair down there, it keeps you warm, and I'm not against like a landing strip or anything like that. If you're a carpet muncher like me, then you know the importance of having nicely shaved beaver. And I know a lot of us has let ourselves go during the pandemic. I mean, like my legs, for instance, they're still in no shave November. No shave September, October. Yeah, they're just a no shave. But the beaver is nice and smooth. But, yeah. So I'm talking about like the bushes. Like, if you put on a pair of briefs and your hair's sticking out the side like Bozo the Clown, then it's time to like mow that shit down, okay? Yeah. Or at least put in some cornrows maybe. I mean, do a little something down there. Also, did you know that if you shave your downstairs, your underwear fits so much better? And it's totally true. It feels like I've lost weight. And who doesn't want to feel that way? I mean, I feel better now that I've lost some coochie weight. Mm-hmm. So, too, if you're into BDSM, things can get kind of kinky. Like take being tied up with rope. Some rope is soft and kind, while others not so much. And I'm pretty sure some of us here have gotten our pubes caught in our zippers, and that shit really hurts, And some of us ladies, sometimes it gets caught in the elastic. It's a bitch down there. It really is. So imagine, you're getting down with it. You're getting kinky, getting into some rope play, and half a bush gets like torn out because it's tangled in the rope. You don't want to go that route. It hurts like hell. And don't even get me started about candle play. You know what happens. You know what wax does to hair, right? That is, whew. Some people prefer the pain side of BDSM, and I'd rather have the pleasure side. Now, a friend of mine refers to her snatch as a feral beaver, and that it keeps growling. And I'm like, girl, what the hell is living in there? Like, I don't know whether to get a weed whacker or a shotgun at this point. Like, whew. I mean, I mean, what does she do like when she's masturbating and she has to part the Red Sea? I'm talking about her hair. She is a ginger. I'm not talking about her period. Let's not talk about gross things. But if you require a comb for your naughty bits, you know, you may need a weed whacker at this point. Guys, and I know you talk about this so much that you want, you know, when ladies are giving you a blowjob and you want your balls to be sucked, you know, you got to trim the bush around there. And ladies, you know, the clit was meant to be found. Don't keep that diamond hidden. You might be missing out on something great. Whew. Well, let's see. Okay, pubic hair. Okay, let's go on to this one. Today I'm here to talk about self-care. And when I say self-care, I mean masturbation. I love to masturbate. I'm a marathon masturbator. I could go for 6 hours or 6 days. I've literally masturbated through a whole season on Netflix in just one sitting. You know, nothing is better. Nothing. Oh my! I love the sploosh when I masturbate. And if you don't know what sploosh means, it's just female ejaculation. I'll paint you a little picture here. This will be one of the last things that I do. Okay, take for instance an elephant going down to get some water with his trunk. He comes back up and sprays it everywhere. That's my vagina. So every time I masturbate, my bed turns into a water bed. And frankly, I've gotten sick of it. So now I just roll out the tarp. So I want to thank Kym for having me here. It's been great. Let's raise some money for cancer. Let's do this thing. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm Kristine Knowlton. This has been my time.
Yeah, I just can't speak more enough. Yeah, as you can see, I'm very close now to covering this bastard up because I don't want to look at this fucker anymore. But I do have a couple of things to finish on. First of all, I recently just had a autobiography released about my family. Yeah. The twits. Good. Sweet. Cool. Right, I'm going to ask you all a question. Who here has been to Hollywood? Who's been, obviously you haven't been to Hollywood. We're comics. We don't go. Now, I have a little pet peeve, okay? The Hollywood sign. What's so fucking special about it? It's just a load of letters on a fucking hill. Like, it's the same with Stonehenge. It's just a load of stones. You know? Like, what the fuck's up with it? It's no joke here. It's just me trying to have a rant. It's like, what the fuck is up with the Hollywood sign? Like, you know, what's so special about it? Someone tell me what's special about the fucking a load of letters on a fucking hill.
It's spelled correctly.
Yeah, it's spelled correctly.
Did you know it's not even the original Hollywood sign? It's the third set of letters.
It was actually called Hollywoodland.
Yeah, originally.
Oh.
Oh, I love this. I love it. But anyway, right, give it up for all your acts tonight. Robert Auty, Simon Hall, Bruce Lipsky, Kristine Knowlton, and Winston Hodges. I'm going to quickly go over.
Thank you, Kym. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hang on. I'm going to go over.
Great talent. A lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm going to go over to our Tiltify page and find out how much we've raised, considering the show isn't even live right now. It's like, fuck Zoom. But honestly, like, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to shut my window because my neighbours are looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you talking to yourself again? Why are you saying you're fucking cunt to yourself? I've been doing it for the last year. Anyway, but yes, honestly, I do appreciate. I'm literally having to do this now because my legs are hurting. Yeah, I have legs. That's something I realised recently, that comics still have legs. I didn't even know they existed since 2020. You know, I just thought that, you know, when 2020 came around, God goes, hey, get rid of those legs. You don't fucking need them anymore. And then it's like 2021, you can have the legs back now. And then lockdown happens again. Oops, say goodbye to your fucking legs. Oh, God. Why does God work in mysterious ways? I don't know. He's a cunt. Anyway. Okay, so the amount we've raised tonight, the goal was $115. We've managed to raise, by the looks of it, $45. So that is good. I'm happy with that, you know. And it's going to a wonderful cause, One Up on Cancer. They're sort of like a gaming sort of thing, and they help. I don't know a lot about them, to be fair. Actually, here it is. I can now actually read out what they say about themselves. Okay, so One Up on Cancer is a gaming community-based non-profit organization dedicated to direct financial assistance for adults in the United States undergoing cancer treatment. So,
Yeah.
big on One Up on Cancer. Obviously, this money will go straight to them. I just want to clarify, because after we did the Thankmas stream back in December, people were saying, oh, did the comics make any bit of money out of that? No, none of us make a single dime, penny, or cent out of this. It goes straight to One Up on Cancer. It goes nothing towards me. The only thing I pay for is Zoom. Zoom and StreamYard. Because, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the World Cancer Show. Thank you so much. The next charity stream, I do believe, is, we got 2 in March. The first one is, I do believe, International Ladies' Day, I think is, which will be an all-female lineup. Yes, Simon, unfortunately, you will have to miss out on that one.
What?
I know, right? I know. I'm sorry. Unless you put a high-pitched voice on for 5 minutes.
And cut your cock off. I was going to do that.
I'm a lady.
Why did we get in trouble, though?
Why do I feel like this is a Little Britain sketch waiting to happen?
Well, yeah.
If
we're allowed to do that anymore.
No, we're not allowed to.
I've got the hair for it.
Yeah.
I've got the hips for it. So you should.
Hips don't lie, Simon. Hips don't lie.
Hips don't lie.
I know, right? Yeah, that's the first one in March, and then the other one is Red Nose Day on the 19th of March. We're going to be doing Red Nose Day, which means I get to punch you all in the face.
Oh, not Big Nose Day, right?
I love how half of you are like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take that. And the other half are like, fuck off. The other half are like, fuck off. Let me punch you first. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will send the recording off eventually once it, converts, because I've got to run over to Frenzy. So
good luck tonight, Kym.
Thanks. Great. Okay, this has been the World Cancer Show. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kym.
Thanks for having us, pal. Thank you.